Hi, I'm P. Tony, your friendly Catholic vlogger, and True Get Catholic asked me, hey, how are you? This priority system you mentioned in the last video, how does it work? I would love to share that with you. So let's do it. For me, the first step was a bit of marketing, not in the sense of putting out advertisement, but in the sense of trying to understand viewers better. I want my viewers to have a really good time in Game of Favorites. So I puzzled through a bit. What is it like for a new viewer joining the Game of Favorites community and going in deep? How do you get from somebody who doesn't know Game of Favorites at all to someone who's highly invested? Well, step one for anybody would be hearing about Game of Favorites, whether that be because a friend of theirs tells them about it, or they know a contestant who's going to be on, or they see, I don't know, a tweet or a social media somewhere, anything like that. Hear about Game of Favorites somehow, first contact, and hopefully their interest is piqued. That's the dream, right? Step two, research Game of Favorites. Some people, not all, like to do a lot of research before they jump into things, and I want to have avenues for them. That's important, basically. So like things like the trailer on the YouTube channel, my pinned tweet on Twitter, those are probably the best avenues that I have right now. Could have a lot more, quite frankly. Archive videos, although the archive videos are not great to watch, they need a lot of polish and edits right now, but that's fine. Future projects. Step three is tune in. Try Game of Favorites, you know? And there's a bit of a hurdle here, because as you are trying Game of Favorites, as someone is trying Game of Favorites for the first time, a lot of people are brand new to Twitch when they try Game of Favorites for the first time. So not only do they have to figure out this whole new, unique game show setup, but they also have to figure out what the heck is Twitch. They also have to figure out where are these sound effects coming from and why do they only sometimes react to them, things like that. They need to understand what is Game of Favorites, and there's a lot to learn, plus the inside jokes, plus all the people that already seem to know each other. Onboarding into Game of Favorites is a huge hurdle in the viewer journey of getting into Game of Favorites. Step four is enjoy Game of Favorites. You know, it's kind of a pity that it takes that long to get to a point of enjoying Game of Favorites, but that is the next step for somebody. Finally, you get through all that, hear about Game of Favorites, figure out what it is, and try it out and understand it. Now you can enjoy Game of Favorites. Ha! Thank goodness. Ha! That's an important step. Do we provide that? Is Game of Favorites enjoyable? Ha! Step five, integrate into Game of Favorites, which can look different for different people. At the base level, the most important way that I hope people integrate into Game of Favorites is a weekly habit of tuning in, whether that be on Wednesday or Friday, or perhaps even both. There's other avenues, for example, joining the Discord and hanging out with other people that also enjoy Game of Favorites, or what else could we do? Just see other people that are using the hashtag GOF hashtag, you know, just interacting with other people, making Game of Favorites part of their life. Also, recently, I'm really excited to see, well, there was a Bible study that just kind of happened. Connor reached out to me and said, hey, I want to start a Bible study. And I said, great, let's set you up and see if anybody else is interested in the Discord. I would love to see more of those sorts of little clubs within Game of Favorites join up and form, so that there are more avenues to integrate into Game of Favorites. Step six is support Game of Favorites, which will be nice for me. How does someone support Game of Favorites? What does that mean? Well, that means inviting people to watch, which, you know, triggers step one way back at the beginning. Also, Patreon and getting merchandise and donating and sharing links, telling people about it, all those sorts of things. And giving feedback also is a good way to support Game of Favorites. So, write those 6 steps down, and now I have a framework of what really matters to me. I also have a whole list of different projects that keep occurring to me, usually thinking of things to do is not hard. What's hard is to figure out which of these things should I be spending time on. So I look at those 6 steps and I look at what are our biggest weaknesses. Um, Especially, like talked about how onboarding is such a pain point. But even step one, getting word out there, letting people know what Game of Favorites is, that's already a weak point right at the beginning. Look at especially at the early stages of this journey map. Um, where are we not doing well, and what projects will address what? I just have them on little like quarter-sized note cards, and I have just a title of all the projects, and I was able to put them up against all the different stages, like the primary thing that such and such will address. So, for example, I want to start having workshops with contestants. What does that address? That addresses enjoying Game of Favorites, because the more I can invest in my contestants, the more entertaining the show will be. That sort of thing. However, since since enjoying Game of Favorites is not the pain point that I'm focusing on right now, I that project of investing in contestants is on the back burner for a bit. Instead, right now, what I'm spending more time on is well, the big thing right now is a huge bottleneck is just sending out invites to wrangle up contestants into episodes, and so I'm setting up a better system for that, which doesn't fit into the model. Ooh, bad example. Ooh. Some projects that don't fit into that just tend to be quality of life for me, and a huge bottleneck within my own routines was that. So that's how that got there. But that's all. That's kind of tripped over myself at the end there. But once you get a sense of what matters, for me that was the viewer journey map. For a lot of people, that's just sales funnels. Like lead gen, lead nurture, sales, delivery, and upsell. That's the normal sales funnel, or one model for it. Which, if this wasn't intentional, but my viewer journey map fits up pretty close to the sales funnel. Once you have that core step-by-step process, and you have a list of projects that you've brainstormed, you can just match what's important and then choose which are the 5 most important projects that you're going to focus on this quarter. Yeah, that's basically it. If you've got a lot of projects, like you've selected step 1 is the most important step for us to focus on these next 3 months, and I've got 10 different projects that could contribute really well to that. Okay, great. You can just prioritize based on, hey, how much benefit will this give me versus how much work is it going to be, how much cost is it going to be, and prioritize the ones that give a lot of bang for a little buck. Yeah, and that's really it. I'm really excited. And then 3 months from now, in like December, I'm going to return to the journey map and figure out what projects I've been thinking about and choose the next 5 to focus on. And that just is much clearer for my head. Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to Jeff Large, who works in the podcasting world, works with a lot of podcasts and helps get them going and helps podcasts perform. He's got, I've heard that he has an article out there that helps introduce people to the world of podcasting that is fairly well known in the podcasting community. But all of this advice is largely based on what he told me, and I tried it, and it's working really well for me, at least in terms of clarity of the head. We'll see if it gets me results, but I'm pretty optimistic on that front. Yes, so there. That's the whole thing. I hope that's helpful. This is a longer vlog. Shout out to True Grit Catholic. And that's all. God bless and ciao.